Hi, my name is Steve Stine from GuitarZoom, and I want to talk to you a little bit about the concept of phrasing and the importance of that in your guitar soloing. A lot of times when we play, we're so bent on licks and, patterns and technique and all these things. And not that those aren't really important to our playing, but we forget to learn how to actually sing on the guitar. And I want to show you something that's really, really effective and really easy to use if you can visualize chord shapes on your fretboard. Now, again, if you know your theory and you know all your notes and all that stuff, this is going to be even easier. But I want to make this nice and simple so you can use this effectively and immediately. And I'm also going to offer you a jam track so you can actually try this on your own. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. My chord progression is G, D, E minor, and C. And I'm going to use a technique that I call plotting points. And what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to connect the dots relative to the chord shapes that I'm using. And then once I've got that established, I'm going to start expanding from there. So let's do this. Let's take the D open chord shape and let's go ahead and move that up. D, E, F, G. We're going to move it up till we get to G. So I'm on the 7th fret and the 8th fret making the D shape. Now those three notes make up the D chord, D, F sharp, and A. But even if you didn't know what the notes of the chord are, or you didn't know the scale or anything like that, you would still be able to create a plotted point by trying to emphasize one of those three notes when the G chord is being played. It's a D shape that's moved up and up to the 7th and 8th frets. It gives us the sound of G. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the 8th fret of the 2nd string, and I'm going to play that pitch, which is G, over that chord. Makes sense, right? Then the D chord comes up. So I got D. So what I do is I move from this note right here up a whole step to A. Now, if you know your theory, A is part of the D chord, okay? But if you don't, it's okay. I want to show you something really cool. What you can do is you can move up to the 10th fret of the 6th string and make a major bar chord. Now, again, any one of these notes is available to you to emphasize or to plot a point. So you'll notice that the 10th fret of the 2nd string is part of that chord. So I'm moving from here up there. Then my 3rd chord in the sequence is E minor. Now again, I could see E minor anywhere on the fretboard and it would be fine, but I'm using the 5th string bar chord, E minor, which is located at the 7th fret of the 5th string. So again, any one of those notes would be able to be emphasized by me or a plotted point. Well, you'll notice that my middle finger of this E minor chord is on the 8th fret of the 2nd string, which is where I started from. So I went from 8 up to 10. Now I'm going back to 8. Now my last chord is C. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a 6-string bar chord on the 8th fret, major, and this is C. So again, any of these notes could be emphasized. So I'm choosing the 9th fret of the 3rd string right here. And this note right here is E. In a C chord, the E note exists within that chord. It's the 3rd. But again, if you didn't know that, it's okay. You're simply visualizing G, D, E minor, and C. So when we get to that C chord, I'm emphasizing the 9th fret of the 3rd string. So now my melody looks like this. My plotted points are this, then back, and then. Now I've just created a basic functional melody that works over all 4 chord changes. One of the big mistakes that people make when they learn how to solo is that they're not thinking about what's being played underneath them. I tend to think of it like this. They're playing alongside the music, but they're not really interacting with the music. That's what I want to teach you how to do, okay? So instead of just moving around and playing a bunch of licks and moving around, and again, don't get me wrong, we need to do those things to color up what we're doing. But if we don't create some sort of melodic idea, our solo really has no purpose. It's just to move around the guitar, practicing scale shapes or, licks or whatever it is that we're learning. So what I'm doing now is I've created just a basic melodic idea, right? So I've got. Now, I'm going to rely on either my ear or my fretboard knowledge to give me some other things to color this up. Okay, this is what I refer to as rephrasing, which is you take an idea, a melodic idea or a phrase, which I've now created, and I'm going to try and start spicing it up a little bit by doing some things to it to make it more interesting. So for instance, when I go from this note right here, which is G, to A, if I know anything about my scales, whether it's pentatonic or diatonic, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, I can start implementing those in between my melodic creation to make it more interesting. So maybe I go, and you see right there what I did was I moved from G up to the note B, which is in the scale. See right there, I'm playing the notes of G major. I'm playing G, A, B, C, D, E, and that's enough for now. And again, if I don't know that scale, I could use a pentatonic, I could have used chordal shapes anywhere on the fretboard, but I want you to explore this idea right now and see what you can do with it. If you don't know your scales, it's okay. If you tried to play something like this, you might like that sound or you might dislike that sound. Now, of course, that note that I played was the 11th fret of the second string, which is not in the key of G, but that doesn't mean it can't be functional. If you like the sound of it, you can use it. That's half the fun of the exploration of your fretboard, okay? Right now, I'm going to stay real constant. I'm going to stay within the context of the key of G here. So I'm going from here, I'm going up, and then I know I want to go back here, but maybe I'll try something else. Maybe I'll go... So you see what's happening now is I start adding in some notes around my melodic creation, my plotted points. And then boom, all of a sudden I start adding some vibrato, I add some bends, some things to give it more human nature. You see? So that's what I want you to start working on is the basic function of creating 4 chords and plotting points with those chords. Now, you don't have to do exactly what I just did, although maybe that's a nice place for you to start. So you're going to start plotting those points over those 4 chords. Then you're going to start adding in some embellishments, some rephrasing ideas by adding in some human elements. You're going to be using the scale. You're going to be using vocal techniques like bending or vibrato, hammer-ons, pull-offs, slides, whatever it might be to make it more realistic, okay? The next time what I want to do is I want to show you how to take everything that we've just done and bring it to another level to really add some human and realistic sounds to the way that you're actually soloing. What I would really appreciate from you is some feedback. Okay, if you can post some comments, how are things going? Is it comfortable? Is it easy? Is it difficult? Let me help you with that, but you got to let me know how things are going. So I'll see you in the next video. By that time, hopefully you've got a basic outline of what you're going to be doing, and then we're going to take it to the next level. So I'll see you in a little bit.